before voicemail, they used to have these mail slots in the hotels where you leave your key. And when we get into a town, Irvin's mail slot would be so packed, and it would be just Susan and a phone number, Linda and a phone number, Joyce and a phone number. I mean, that was every city, every time.
That boy had 10 things in every state. That's different. What's good, y'all? We're back for part 4. Y'all got 100 likes on the last video, I think. If not, then go get that video to 100 likes. I'm posting this regardless. We are going to react to part 4 of Magic and Bird, A Courtship of Rivals. This series has been very informative to me. I'm learning more about Magic and Bird, the dynamic, how this was the best sports rivalry of all time, and how it brought races together, pulled them apart, the whole storyline, how Bird got his rings, how Magic got his rings, and how they saved basketball, because the views for basketball was terrible before they came into the picture, and NCAA games are getting more ratings than the NBA. So let's see what happens next.
Somehow floated.
And after Bird led the Celtics to the championship in 1986, his third in the pros, winning his third straight MVP award in the process, the resentment grew.
I always felt that the press was biased in favor of Larry Bird. It always felt to me like they were gonna make Larry the hero. You know, you'd see somebody score and Larry would be in a cast in a suit on the bench and they'd say, Larry Bird made that possible a couple weeks ago when he told that guy he could do it. And he just did it.
Oh,
They
God.
gonna get his the assistant, he not in the game?
Not to be racist, but we have a white guy who's the best in the world.
Not to be racist, but I have the best black editor in the world, myself. Sounds off, but okay.
Larry Bird, who can't run, who can't jump, but can do everything.
I'm not.
there.
I'm just
I don't mean
using it as an example.
It don't mean anything to me. It never has. I don't know why. I mean, am I doing something wrong here?
Larry's just
Bird
good.
may have sought to avoid the conversation entirely, but the more he won, the less he could escape it.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. What a play by Bird.
In 1987, after Boston beat the Detroit Pistons to advance to the finals for the 4th straight year, Pistons rookie Dennis Rodman called Bird overrated because he was white.
Oh boy.
His teammate Isaiah Thomas then chimed in with some thoughts of his own.
I think Larry is a very, very good basketball player. I think he's an exceptional talent. But I'd have to agree with Rodman. If he was black, he'd be just another good guy.
I can remember in the locker room, I think it was Jack McMullen came up to me and said, Isaiah just said, boom, 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 boom. And I go, so?
He didn't care. He didn't care. Everybody else around him cared very deeply in the days and weeks as it turned out ahead.
Back when the newspaper was what people
media
believed.
made it out like it was something.
The
But it didn't
mainstream
matter
media.
to me what Isaiah or Dennis Rodman said, and it still don't. It has no bearing on what I do in my life.
He doesn't see race. He really doesn't. And he could have. This guy grew up poor, white, in southern Indiana. Southern Indiana, the home, by the way, of the modern Ku Klux Klan.
Oy.
How he managed not to be affected by the cultural milieu that he grew up in is, I think, a miracle. To me, it's inexplicable.
When I was in about 6th or 7th grade, I couldn't wait till school to be over because I knew over on the courts, the waiters from the hotel would be over there. They were black, older, and they let me play. You know, I always looked at that as I got an opportunity to play against a black man, and they treated me good. I couldn't wait to play against the best, and at that time, they were the best.
And in 1987,
That's an amazing spin
At
move.
that time, they were the best.
Sorry, but that is
and in 1987, as Bird vied with Magic to be the best. The flap over Isaiah Thomas's racially fueled remarks forced Bird to address his least favorite topic at the worst possible time.
I had to go to a press conference when we was in LA trying to get ready to play the Lakers and tell people I didn't care. This don't bother me.
The main thing is if the statements or whatever was said doesn't bother me. I don't think it should bother any of us.
From playing all year, trying to get back to the finals and play against Magic, this was a distraction.
Bird was facing off against Magic for the third time in 4 years. And if their relationship had softened, the determination to beat each other had not.
I won.
As Game 4 proved, the level of competition between them was higher than ever.
Bird played awesome down the stretch of that game.
Trailing 2-1 in the series, the Celtics were down by 1 point in the final minute of the game. But Larry Bird wouldn't be easily vanquished.
Ain't this one he missed? Oh no, he made that one. Corner
With 7
three.
seconds left, though, the Lakers still had life. 3 years earlier in the '84 finals, Magic had flubbed a similar situation. But this was a different Magic, one with a whole new bag of tricks.
My man switched to Kareem, and Kevin McHale jumped out to me. As soon as I saw Kevin,
He said mismatch.
You know, Magic puts it on the floor, a couple head and shoulder
1,
fakes.
2.
He raised up in the air.
Oh.
And there was nobody that was going to get that shot.
Hook shot on 2 people, by the way, from a point guard.
I remember after they called timeout thinking, there's still a shot here.
This
Celtics
is
may
where
still
Larry
win this
missed.
game.
Okay.
Well, they set up a great play. Bird walked Worthy all the way up, forced the denial all the way up.
Came back.
We've done it before. Clear everybody out, go to the ball, and break to the corner.
Open in the corner.
Caught it here, and as he caught it, all he had to do was turn. And just turn, and he just let this thing go.
Put it
Got a
on.
wide open look, couldn't believe it.
And I'm standing right there. It is straight as an arrow.
Dead on.
All right.
They were lucky because it was right on line.
He looked at me like, how did you ever leave me that wide open?
You gotta be kidding me. Changed the whole series.
Tough.
The Lakers won the series in 6. And in the aftermath of a year in which Magic had won his first MVP, the rivalry suddenly took on a new tone.
Magic's just a great basketball player. He's the best I've ever seen, you know. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say.
I was shocked that he said it because I thought to myself, maybe this is the beginning of a new era that's not going to include him. It was the passing of the torch a little bit.
Passing up the torch
After
already?
vanquishing Bird in '87, Magic wasn't done winning. The following year, he squared off in the finals against his good friend Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons.
Good friend.
Beating them to become the NBA's first repeat champions in 2 decades. By the dawn of the '90s, he'd won 5 titles, played in 8 finals, and equaled Bird's MVP tally of 3. But the more Magic won, the less Irvin seemed to be around to reap the spoils.
Once I tasted the champagne and the championship, I wanted more of that and more of that. So Magic kept growing because we were successful. And the persona and all of that came with that.
The Prince of LA was now the king.
Eesh.
And in Hollywood, being royalty had its perks.
Eesh. Oh boy.
What was Irvin Johnson's vice? Now, you know, my publicist wants me to say winning. But
Turn me
women
up.
loved Irvin.
Back then, before voicemail, they used to have these mail slots in the hotels where you leave your key. And when we get into a town, Irvin's mail slot would be so packed, and it would be just Susan and a phone number, Linda and a phone number, Joyce and a phone number. I mean, that was every city, every time.
That boy had 10 things in every state. That's different.
I was on top of my game as Magic, so I needed all that around me.
Golly, bro, who are you posing for?
Women, this, the that, Hollywood.
Magic was living in a context of sybaritic excess from the minute he walked in the door, and he developed a sweet tooth for it.
sex with several women at the same time.
Yeah. Like I said, women have different fantasies. Some want to be with 2 or 3 at a time. You know, one time I had 6 at one time.
There's no way he said this on camera. Obviously, I know he has AIDS. But you go in front of a camera and say that you had 6 at one time. Bro, don't you know that's how you lose your... Okay. You know what? You did your thing. What can I say? This...
That's just...
I really do believe he looks upon Magic Johnson as a movie character.
He must have lost himself doing all of this.
I think Irvin got overwhelmed.
Like his real personality.
In L.A. by what it meant to be a star.
L.A. changes people.
That's probably true that the Magic ego swallowed Irvin a little bit, but that's okay because I couldn't win 5 championships without that.
Through all of this haze of women and money and fame.
I don't know about that. Let me ask y'all. What would you rather? 5 NBA championships? With AIDS? Or none without AIDS?
Fortune, he still kept basketball at #1. He never seemed to lose that focus.
Larry had 2 jobs his last 7 years of playing. It was playing basketball, and then it was him being committed to taking care of his back.
He had first heard it in 1985.
From carrying that Celtics organization, sheesh.
The driveway at his mom's
That's probably
house
why.
back in French Lick.
Larry decides to do it himself. This is Larry Bird, the superstar, out there breaking his back, literally shoveling gravel. And that was the beginning of the process.
I would see him on TV laying down, and then they told me that he had to lay down on planes, different things like that. And I was like, wow.
Lie down on planes.
As Magic soared through the prime of his career, Bird was breaking down. His deteriorating back and punishing style of play proving an excruciating mix.
From 88 to 92,
that's
it
the
was
Bad Boy
painful to watch.
Pistons
It was
there,
painful to
too.
cover. Larry is quite ornery when he's not feeling well, which means he was ornery for those next 4 years.
He could manage the pain in a way that very few people can do. There'd be days he could come in the office and he couldn't stand up.
That is a...
But even after
Picture.
2 ruptured Achilles tendons...
2 ruptured Achilles! 2 Achilles ruptures? That is...
Surgery on his back in 1991, Bird kept going to work.
He kept playing after that. Can he walk?
Product of a lesson learned many years before, seeing the swollen ankle of a man long since gone.
Well, we don't know if it broke.
That's
or not,
tough.
But it broke to me. Had to go to work and he had to get his boot on, and it took everything I had to help him get that boot on his foot. And he stood up limping. And he says, "Well, I'll see you this weekend," because he was working construction at the time. And I was pretty amazed how he could fight through that all week, then come home on the weekend and it was black and swollen. And
Yes.
he'd sit around on the weekend and put that boot on and go again. If you get paid to go to work, you got to go to work.
It was a situation that he was seeing almost daily.
Sure.
He had lost the structural stability in his spine. So it would slip into abnormal positions to try and lock itself to get an artificial stability.
That just sounds painful. His spine moves on its own to try and find the right... Ugh, nah, that is...
It's like getting your finger stuck in a door
Ugh.
and somebody's still pushing on the door.
All right, bro.
So what we had to do was unlock his spine, realign it, do techniques that would hold that for 4 hours, 6 hours, that type of thing, and then he'd go play basketball.
And then go and play basketball right after. You should be in the hospital for a couple months. What?
Every
Wow.
time I would play, I was wondering if I was going to be in a wheelchair. Was I ever going to be able to, walk on the beach or hold my kids?
He's worrying about if he's going to be in a wheelchair, hold his kids, all of that, and he's still playing in the NBA at a high level. That's... If you're thinking about that, you'd think you would, take a break and rest or something.
And his quest for basketball became all-encompassing. Very few people really knew what Larry was living with, because this was Larry's issue, and there was no sharing of his pain.
You know, I probably should have retired in 88, 89, but it's that competition. Maybe one more chance, me and Magic could get together in the finals, but it never happened.
That's tough.
I'm sleeping, really, laying down, just waiting on the game, and phone rings, and the voice says, "Hey, you gotta come back to LA." And I said, "Okay, why?" "Well, I can't tell you until you get to LA."
We're gonna stop it there. We have like 17 minutes left. I know the next one is probably gonna be a description of Magic. This was the description of Larry. We're gonna finish it off next video. This is gonna be the last part. So thank you all for watching. Subscribe. Like the video. If this video gets 100 likes, the next video is unlocked. If it doesn't get 100 likes, I'm still gonna post it, but maybe not immediately. Stay tuned for more. We're gonna continue. I know there's a Pistol Pete mixtape. Should I say that on here? Because people are stealing my video ideas. You know what? It's fine. We're gonna be reacting to Pistol Pete very, very soon. I seen a lot of comments about him. I know that he was another good point guard. I don't know much about him, but you know, we're gonna find out after we react. We're gonna go on a journey of, you know, reacting to a whole bunch of stuff. I have a couple more making the cases to react to as well. We got a lot more after this. So after this documentary, don't leave this channel. Trust me, we're gonna stay on the same path. So like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.
I'm just talking on this beat, like it's just you and just me. We can say the side of the beef.